1995. That's right, 1,895 clues have come and gone, but 26 new ones are headed your way as part of this 71st episode of Disney 100 Jeopardy, presented by MagicBandReaders.com. As always, I am your host, Bryan Perri, and thank you so much for joining me. Let's jump into the rules real quick, even though the rules don't really matter, because I always tell you, if you want to cheat, be a cheater. I couldn't care less. So be my guest. In last week's episode 70, the final Jeopardy category was Inside Out. Now, I did tell you, even though it's one of my favorite Pixar movies ever, that category was not carrying over to this episode 71 like it normally does. Instead, in honor of Inside Out 2, I'm renaming the 5 categories you'll be playing today after the 5 original emotions in Inside Out. And a special reminder, here's what they are. First up, you've got joy. Then you've got sadness, followed by anger, disgust, and fear. And just to be clear, this is not an Inside Out specific Disney 100 Jeopardy game. No, each of the categories will include 5 clues from different Disney films that feature scenes that might elicit an emotional response that has to do with that category. So obviously the sadness category will have 5 different clues about sad Disney scenes. And the anger category, well, all right, you know what? Good to do. I don't have to explain it to you. All right, it is now time for the easiest round of the game, the cupcake round. Each of these clues are worth just 200 points each. Hopefully you go 5 for 5 and bank 1,000 points under your belt. Without further delay, let's kick this thing off with a little joy for 2. Only one wish could make Genie this joyful. This was Aladdin's final wish at the end of the 1992 film. What is to set Genie free?
Genie, I wish for your freedom.
One bona fide prince pedigree coming up. What?
We're on to sadness, unfortunately, for 200 points. In Inside Out, this imaginary friend of Riley sacrifices himself in one of the film's saddest scenes. Who is Bing Bong?
Bing Bong!
You made it! Go save Riley!
On to anger now for the 3rd clue of the game. This villain normally has luscious, flaming blue locks, except when he's angry. Then his hair and body change to a red shade. Who is Hades?
What? Okay, fine, I'm cool, I'm fine.
Here comes your first clue from the disgust category. In The Lion King, Simba is disgusted at the idea of eating worms and grub. Though these 2 characters claim that it's not that bad. It even tastes like chicken and is actually slimy, yet satisfying. Who are Timon and Pumbaa?
Tastes like chicken.
Slimy yet satisfying.
Here comes your final clue of the cupcake round. It belongs to the fear category. Though this clue might be worth more than 200 points. That's because it is time for the Daily Double, since this is the 1,900th clue in Disney 100 Jeopardy history. Once again, it's from the fear category, but it is just a cupcake round clue, so hopefully you just go all in and believe in yourself in terms of your knowledge for fear in Disney and Pixar scenes. And time is up. Let's check out the clue. At the end of Monsters, Inc., it's discovered that this power source is actually 10 times more powerful than children's screams. And the correct answer is children's laughter.
Great job, Mikey.
You filled your quota on the first kid of the day.
Not bad, huh? You know, only somebody with perfect comedic timing could produce this much energy in one shot.
Uh-huh. And the fact that laughter is 10 times more powerful than scream had nothing to do with it.
That does it for the cupcake round. Hopefully you have a good grasp on how the rest of this game is going to go. Let's start off the second round, the 400-point round, with category of joy. And here's another one from Inside Out. She voiced Joy in Inside Out. Who is Amy Poehler?
Joy is pretty awesome. She's cheerful, upbeat, and always knows how to turn that frown upside down.
On to sadness for the second time. Grab your tissues for the famous scene in Dumbo where this song plays in the background, while Mrs. Jumbo holds her son with her trunk despite not being able to see him. A truly devastating scene. The correct answer is Baby Mine. Here comes your second clue from the anger category. In this scene in Beauty and the Beast, Beast tells Belle that she shouldn't have gone in the West Wing. That kind of sounded like Gaston. I don't know what that was, but whatever. She shouldn't have gone in the West Wing. To which Belle replies that he should learn to do this. He should learn to control his temper.
Well, you shouldn't have been in the West Wing!
Well, you should learn to control your temper.
Beauty and the Beast says, I love it, but it's got quite a few plot holes. She thanks him for saving her in that scene, but did he really save her after kidnapping her and her father? I don't know, whatever. Let's move on. Here comes Disgust for 400. Looking disgusted, Ariel from The Little Mermaid is seen here after Prince Eric does this while riding in a boat with her. What is guesses her name incorrectly?
You know, I feel really bad not knowing your name. Maybe I could guess. Is it, Mildred? Okay, no. How about Diana? Rachel?
Here comes the final clue of the 400-point round. It belongs to my favorite emotion from Inside Out, fear. What Captain Hook fears most? What is the crocodile?
Smee! Save me, please, don't let him get me!
I feel like his name is TikTok, is it not? Did we just give him that name because of the sound of a clock? I don't know. I could have sworn his name was TikTok, but maybe it's not. Well, either way, it's the crocodile. That's what he fears most. 600-point round headed your way. It begins with Joy again. Full of joy, Zeus is seen here looking down at his baby Hercules, just moments before presenting him with this as a gift. Zeus presents baby Herc with Pegasus.
His name is Pegasus, and he's all yours, son.
We're approaching the halfway point of the game as we look at sadness for the third time. At one point, this character cries tears so large they flood a room that she's locked in. Who is Alice?
You up there! Stop! Stop, I say! Oh, look! The bottle! The bottle!
And we've arrived at the halfway point of the game. It's time to get angry! It's time to get mean! Sorry, quoting Dodgeball. Great movie. It's anger for 600. In Pixar's Elemental, this character changes colors to a near purple when getting ready to explode from being angry and overwhelmed. Who is Ember?
Take breath, make connection. Take breath, make connection! Sorry.
We're shifting our way over to Disgust for the third time today. It's worth 6. Disgust from Inside Out looks pretty satisfied with herself in this scene after she claims she successfully saved Riley's life by making sure she didn't eat this as a child. What is broccoli?
That is not brightly colored or shaped like a dinosaur. Hold on, guys. It's broccoli! Yucky! Well, I just saved our lives. Yeah, you're welcome.
Final clue of the 600-point round belongs to fear. These logs that strike fear in us all and resemble crocodiles are spotted in this Disney film. That would be the original Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. 15 clues down as we boost the difficulty even more. It's the challenging 800-point round now, and it starts off with Joy. This character was happy as can be after learning he just booked a gig with the Dorothea Williams, who is Joe Gardner.
Get a suit, Teach. A good suit. Back here tonight, first show's at 9, sound check's at 7. We'll see how you do.
Yes! Woohoo! You see that, Dad? That's what I'm talking about!
And that joy went to sadness pretty quickly after he fell in a manhole and died. Yep, that's how a Pixar movie begins. A Pixar movie that was released on Christmas, no less. Let's keep the sadness going. It's sadness for 800. If you want your heart ripped out and stepped on, watch The Fox and the Hound, where this character leaves her pet fox Todd in the forest in an attempt to keep him safe from a rampaging neighbor. If I ever see Widow Tweed in the streets here in New York, she's gonna hear some not nice words from me. Because yes, I know she was looking out for Todd and trying to keep him alive, but she drove her rickety old car maybe 500 feet from her house and thought, now he's safe? Get out of here. No way. Todd was so sweet. That is the saddest scene ever. Okay, I don't want to go on a rant, but very underrated movie, Fox and the Hound, and very sad scene. Here comes anger for 800. It's not often you see Grumpy with a smile on his face. What caused him to smile? The correct answer is he got a smooch from Snow White. Here comes disgust for 800. Before Remy saves the day, he nearly throws up after catching a sniff of this type of dish Linguini was making on his own. Correct answer is soup/stew. I couldn't decide what the answer was out of those two, so I looked up what's the difference between stew and soup, and it said the consistency of the liquid or whatever. But it's that. It's either soup or stew, so one of those. Final clue of the 800-point round before we approach the dramatic 1000s belongs to fear. Fear will be your enemy are words spoken by this Disney character. Who is Grandpappy from Frozen?
But also great danger. You must learn to control it. Fear will be your enemy. No.
I'm on a roll here showing you secretly terrible characters from Widow Tweed to Grandpappy. Why would he show baby Elsa that? She's already going through a lot and then he shows her this. She's like, how old is she? She's 3 years old, 4 years, 5? I don't know, messed up character. Don't like Grandpappy. Don't trust the trolls. Think they've got some ulterior motives and I'm not a fan of them. With that, it is now time for the most overly dramatic, soundtrack-infused, unnecessarily spotlighted part of the game, the 1,000-point round. Hit it! 1,000-point clues are by far the most difficult clues of the game, so they provide the ultimate challenge for you Disney diehards. Let's see how you do in this episode 71. It begins with the joy category. It's a joyful ending at the culmination of 2005's Home on the Range. Just check out the smiles on the three main characters' faces. I ask you, just name one of them. Just one. Can you do it? If you're one of the 12 people who saw Home on the Range, you still might not remember it, but the correct answers could have been Maggie, Grace, or Mrs. Calloway. Never thought I'd include Home on the Range in a 1,000-point round, but I tried to make it as easy as possible. We move on to the second clue in the 1,000-point round. It belongs to sadness. Before Ellie's devastating death at the start of Up, Carl buys her a plane ticket to this country in an attempt to take her on one last adventure. She never went on that adventure. That adventure would have been to Venezuela.
Oh, my back!
3 clues left on the board. We go over to anger for 1,000. In this scene from Inside Out, the emotions inside Riley's father's brain threaten to put the foot down. In other words, he's about to discipline his daughter by doing this. What is send her to her room?
Just shut up!
Fire! That's it. Go to your room. Now.
The foot is down. The foot is down.
Good job, gentlemen. That could have been a disaster.
Well, that was a disaster.
Great scene in Inside Out. Here comes Disgust's final clue of the game. Seen here is the greatest prince of all time, Prince Naveen. His disgusted reaction is in response to his little pal Louis suggesting that he either marry a rich young lady or do this. Correct answer is get a job.
At this point, you have 2 choices. Woo and marry a rich young lady, or get a job.
All right, fine. But first, we dance!
We move on to the final clue on the board. It belongs to fear for 1,000. Listen to this horrifying audio filled with fear and hysteria and identify the film.
Call anybody! Mama!
What is Pinocchio?
Call anybody! Mama!
So there you have it. 25 clues are down, but 1 remains, and it happens to be the 1 clue of the game that will ultimately determine how proud of yourself you will be for the next 7 days. It is time for Final Jeopardy in this episode 71. Here comes the category. 1971, the fateful year in which Walt Disney World opened down in Orlando. And in honor of Walt Disney World and Disney Parks worldwide, this Final Jeopardy category is presented by our friends at MagicBandReaders.com. Use promo code ITM20 for 20% off your purchase, which includes this wide array of Magic Band readers. Keep the magic inside your Magic Band alive by bringing home a Magic Band reader. A simple tap of your band can activate different electronics in your house and even bring the reader to life. Whether you're a Haunted Mansion fan or a Pirates fan, there's a band reader for you. There's even a Splash Mountain one if you still want to hear Zippity-Doo-Dah one more time. Once again, promo code ITM20 is your code for 20% off your very own Magic Band reader at MagicBandReaders.com. All right, time to make those wagers in this Final Jeopardy. Once again, the category is 1971. And time is up. 1971, a huge year for the Walt Disney Company, of course, mainly because of the opening of Walt Disney World. So let's check out the final clue of the game, which has to do with the opening of my home for 6 years. Let's check it out. The 3 Walt Disney World hotels that were operating by the end of 1971. Good luck. And time is up. Okay, on that big day, October 1st, 1971, Magic Kingdom opened up its gates, and right next door, also opening, was the Contemporary Resort, which could, of course, be accessed, and still can be accessed, by the Walt Disney World monorail system. Another hotel that was open back in October of 71, the Polynesian Resort, which leaves one other hotel that actually was not open in October of 1971, opened a month later in November. That would be Fort Wilderness. And that does it for this Inside Out inspired episode of Disney 100 Jeopardy, presented by MagicBandReaders.com. You know the deal. If you like what you saw, do me a favor, subscribe, click that bell icon. Hello, bell. This way, you're notified every time we come out with brand new content. Once again, go to MagicBandReaders.com, use the promo code ITM20 for 20% off your purchase. And be sure to join me next week for episode 72, which will include the category of 1971. Once again, I've been your host, Bryan Perri. Hopefully I see you next week. Till then,
Bye-bye.